This is what Tusk looks like when your project is fully backed up. You can see here I have now my files safely across this Mac plus 2 additional destinations, which are an external drive and a Google Drive. It doesn't matter whether my drive is plugged in or not. I just unplugged it, right? The files are still there and still visible for me. I can delete them locally. I can also bring them back with one click. And here's exactly how I set this up. So there are two ways for you to create a new project in Tusk. The first one is you just click here on Add Project, and then you can put in the project name and select the folder from within Tusk. Or you can just go into your Finder and say, this is my folder. In my case, it's a Berlin trip example folder, and it will automatically fill out everything for you. You can obviously still update it, but then when I click Continue, I then can select my backup destinations. In my case here, I'm going to back it up, all the files from my Berlin trip folder, to my SSD drive, and I'm going to do it in a new folder, like into a new folder, which will also automatically be called Berlin Trip and will be created by Tusk when the files are being moved. I'll also back up my files to the cloud. I'm going to pick Google Drive. You also have Dropbox and Amazon S3 here. For Google Drive, you just have to connect your account like that. Normally, you're also going to see some kind of scopes here and a checkbox that you have to select. And then when I click Continue, I'll see you're now connected to Google Drive. I can come back to my to Tusk, to my project, and I'll see here now, okay, what am I actually going to do? 9 files are going to be backed up, 407 megabytes into the external drive and the Google Drive. And if I click Create Project, it will immediately start backing up the files. One thing that you can see here is that it's going to realize, Tusk is going to realize that the hard drive here is the faster destination. So now it actually starts moving all the files over there because we want to maximize the amount of places that we have all the files in, right? So in this case here, we now have 2 locations. We already have the hard drive and our local machine that holds those. And now it will also back it up to the drive. So if I look into my drive, we see that now there's a Tusk folder here. And inside there, we have the Berlin trip one with, for example, the photos folder, the B-roll one. In audio, there's already a file, right? And the other files now are going to be slowly moved in there. And this is going to take a bit of time, right? Because uploading to the cloud is just a bit slower. Cool. Now it's all done. And what you have here is the overall project dashboard. And below the backup destinations and the general status, you see the folder view by default. But you can also look at the individual files right here. And I'm going to go back to the folder view. What it shows me here is across all the different locations, the current status of all the folders and the files. And Tusk is not just a one-time thing, but instead what it does is actually it continues tracking your files in that folder. What that means now is that if I go back into my Finder, into the Berlin trip folder, and I, for example, add a new file, so this is called added footage, Tusk will automatically pick it up and then move it across or copy it to my external hard drive and my Google Drive as well. So whatever I do inside of my project, if I update anything, it will automatically track those changes and make sure that they are reflected on all the other drives. Now, if I go in and, for example, say this added footage, I actually wanted to name new file, it will update the file name accordingly. You just see that here in the background. I can also move it then into a roll, and Tusk will also pick that up. Now it's gone, it's inside of the folder. And it's not just file addition, renaming, or moving, but also the content of files. So if I, for example, have this text file here, which is a project overview, and I go in here and I just say updated project overview, and I save, Tusk will notice as well that a file has changed. And this is not just for simple text files. If you have Adobe Premiere Pro running with like project files, right, Tusk will understand that these files have updated, and your current status or the current status of the file will then be moved to your backup locations as well. Now that's everything around backup and continuous tracking, but Tusk has another huge advantage, which is that if you have a lot of large media files locally, your Mac is going to fill up. In my case here, this is a smaller project, but I can still go and say, hey, I want to delete all the local files, because now that my files are backed up, there's no point in me having them on my local machine. So now all of them have been deleted locally. If I go in my Finder here, you see you still have the empty folders, but no files. And even better, if I now say, hey, let me unplug my hard drive right here, Tusk still knows where those files are. They still are searchable. You still know you have them securely backed up. And you never worry again about whether files have already been copied or not. You can just look at the Tusk dashboard. Now there's a few more things Tusk can do for you around file management, and you can either just try it out for free, download the app, or you can also check out the documentation and see the different use cases Tusk can handle for you.